Trey is a candidate for the TUSD Governing Board. We're happy to have him here tonight. So we'll give you the floor.
My name is Trey Rhodes. I'm a candidate for TUSD School Board. I'll tell you a little bit about myself before I get into, the nitty-gritty of my candidacy and platform. I'm gonna give you a pre-warning. If you see me squinting, I forgot my glasses, so I might be squinting at the screen a little bit. So yeah, I was born and raised here in Tucson, Arizona. Grew up over on the east side of Tucson. Um, I was raised in a single parent household. I completed all of my schooling in TUSD schools, graduating from Sabino in 2024. And I'm running for TUSD school board because I believe that our district can be doing more for our students and for our TUSD families. I was, as I mentioned, raised in a single parent household. I was a free lunch kid, so I'm no stranger to at-home struggle and adversity. However, I truly, truly 100% believe that my public schools gave me the foundation that I needed to become a first generation college student. And as a first generation college student, and as somebody who is a recent TUSD graduate and an older brother with two current TUSD students, I think that I can really say that I understand the challenges that our district is facing, and I can understand the perspective that our students are bringing to this to the district now. Um, I'm, running because I believe it's time that we have some new ideas on the board. I think we, for a long time, haven't had a voice that can properly represent for the needs of our students, and I'm here to be that voice. Now, I want to give a little bit of context. For the issues that the district is facing, right? Many of you probably know that we are losing funding by the minute, right? We're not getting much funding from the state ledge. I see Priya was on here. She's, been a champion for education and been a champion for the struggle for a long time. But, the fact of the matter is we're not getting much money from the state legislature. We're certainly not getting much money from the federal government, and that probably will not be changing anytime soon. Our enrollment has been declining at an unprecedented rate, largely due to just shifts in the demographic of Tucson. And absenteeism is on the rise, right? Students are becoming more and more disengaged at a faster rate, right? So we have to find new and innovative solutions to these problems, right? I have my ABCs to district success, right? So I'll start with A, which is adapting to a new generation of learners, right? So when I speak about adapting to a new generation of learners, what I mean by that is, including district-wide AI policy. So we're teaching our students how to utilize tools that are going to be in the classroom and tools that are going to be in the world as they, exit our public schools. Moving away from more traditional models of education, right? So if you're an educator, you might be familiar with the term teaching to the test, right? Moving away from models like that in favor of things like mastery learning or models where students have a little bit more ability to have autonomy in their educational journey. And then B, building pathways to success, right? So what I mean by that is making sure that we are providing our students with the opportunities and the resources they need to not only be successful within our district, but to have long-lasting, successful careers and lives outside of their times in our public schools. So that means, expanding our CTE opportunities, our career and technical education opportunities, right? Increasing our college and career readiness opportunities and resources. Engaging students or allowing students to engage in internships and apprenticeships so that they can have training and experience ready for the workforce by the time they get out of TUSD schools. And then C, creating stronger learning environments, right? So what I mean by that is making sure that students are in environments where they can comfortably learn and focus on the material at hand, right? I've spoken with many teachers across the district, and I'm hearing similar complaints, right? Class sizes are too large. There's not enough staff there's not enough teacher support staff, right? Not enough student support staff. Facilities are not up to date. Books learning materials and learning resources aren't up to par. So making sure that students have those resources and quality resources so that they can be learning in a way that is effective and efficient. Um, Ultimately, my platform and my campaign is based on what I said throughout this is just resources and opportunity, making sure that we are doing everything within our power to ensure that every single student has what they need to be successful in their own right. I don't believe in forcing students into a one size fits all model. I don't think that that is a efficient way to teach the next generation of leaders in our city. We must absolutely be giving them the ability to have an power in their education and giving them clear pathways to a successful future. Um, with that being said, I hope you're feeling a little bit inspired to support a young candidate who is, trying to represent for the needs of his peers. And if you are, in order to do that, one of the biggest ways that you could help myself in this campaign is not only, contributing financially. I'll let you know a secret. Running a campaign is not cheap. Financial contributions help a ton, but also just, word of mouth. If you have a friend who has children in TUSD schools, or you have children or grandchildren in TUSD schools, spreading the information to your peers and to the folks talking to your students, understanding their challenges and their struggles, and if you're hearing something from your students, communicating that back with me, just having that open line of communication really does help a lot. Absolutely. Yeah, I would love to open up the floor for questions. I know I kind of sped through that, so I didn't really get a chance to cover everything. But if you have any specific questions, I would love to answer those. I have my email on my campaign website, treyfortusd.com. You can find my email and you can email me any questions, comments, or concerns that you may have, and I will respond as soon as I can.
That's, thank you so much. I also want to point out that for everybody that Trey also has his Act Blue uh, address out there, so
I do.
it's easy to
Yeah,
donate and
drop that in
help
the
him out.
link.
Yeah, it's already there. It's
Oh,
there.
wonderful. Okay, sounds good.
Somebody, okay, good. Um, thank you. Are there any other questions before I just want to thank you so much. It's so inspiring to see young people like you getting involved, and
Thank you
someday
so
you might
much.
be president.
Who knows? We'll see. I'm
we'll
sure there's
we'll take
a
it one step at a
yeah,
time.
one step at a time. There's a smarter kid out there for that job,
Well, this is a thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
Maggie, there's a couple questions in the chat.
All right.
How would you protect students and parents from ICE showing up at school?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that question. Right now we're seeing the rise of, I like to say, an American Gestapo, right? I think ICE has become, they've overreached and they're becoming something that is sickening. I would introduce policy that would prohibit ICE from stepping foot on any TUSD property, whether that's a campus or an administrative building. I do not believe that TUSD is a place for enforcement agencies to be preying on our students and our families. I think that a TUSD school should be a safe space for a student and for their family. And furthermore, I think that we should be increasing the resources that we provide for our students that are in certain immigration statuses or who have family members um, who are going through the immigration process. Maybe that's connecting them with immigration experts, legal experts, or if that's providing them with know your rights trainings, having educational workshops in the district. The district hosts know your rights training so that people who are in these situations and are vulnerable to ICE, know the rights that they have and know how to protect themselves if they have those sorts of encounters. Hey, Christine, it's good to
Okay,
see
the
you.
next question. I'd love to hear you address the growing concern about Turning Point.
Yes, I've gotten this question a lot. There is district policy in place that uh, goes into detail about the clubs that are allowed to operate on a TUSD campus. Um, Unfortunately, we can't, say we can't ban a TPUSA club. However, we can have more strict policy that uh, limits how they can operate and limits what things they can do. Right now, you see many college TPUSA chapters partnering with some of their uh, high school students to ride or to erect, TPUSA high school chapters, and then you see those college chapters kind of pulling the strings and pushing an agenda on the high school campus. I think we have to get rid of that, make sure that if you are a student club, you are being ran and operated by students. But also, I think we kind of have to fight hate with love, fight fire with water. I'm a member of the University of Arizona College Democrats, and I've spoken with some of my peers and some individuals on the high school level that have expressed interest in opening up their own UA or their own high school Democrats chapter. So I would like to, during my time on the board, work with, students to bring those clubs up and also work with some of the clubs that are already established, like aspiring Latino lawyers over at Pueblo, that are already kind of in that space, but work with them to kind of build up their infrastructure, build up their membership so that they can, continue to kind of combat the TPUSA clubs on campus.
And one final question: what inspired you to run?
Oh boy, man. There were a plethora of things that inspired me. I will say that I've always, been interested in going into public service. I kind of always had a dream of being a politician. I remember when I was a young kid, I used to live at my grandma's house, and I remember one time watching Obama's State of the Union address, and I remember so vividly. I was sitting on my grandma's carpet, and her carpet smelled like butterscotch and cigarettes. And I was looking at the TV and, I'm hearing this guy speak and I'm like, man, this is somebody that looks similar to me, has somewhat of a similar background. And, to think that somebody that looks like I do can reach such a high office and do such good in the world, it was so inspiring. And I kept that with me throughout my entire life, honestly. And when I graduated from high school, I was deciding what I was going to kind of do with my life. Am I going to go to college? Am I going to work? If I go to college, what am I going to major in? And I decided to go to college. I decided to major in political science. And I decided to take the path of public service and public office. But when I was deciding what office I would, kind of try to focus or run on, the thing that kind of pointed me towards TUSD was my brother and sister. I remember one day, I had picked them up from school and, I was asking them the usual, how was school, what you learned today, blah, blah, blah. And they said some things that I'm not going to repeat here, but they said some things that were, positive and negative. And I remember laughing at some of the things, but also, saying like, hey, I kind of remember, feeling a similar way or having those similar thoughts. And they were the ones who really motivated me. I figured, if I've had gone through TUSC schools. I had already graduated, and these issues are still prevalent. I mean, somebody's got to be doing something about them. And excuse my language, but I'll be damned if I don't do everything I possibly can to make sure that my brother and sister don't have the absolute most resource and opportunity that they need to be successful. So yeah, that's kind of my reason.
Great. Thank you. You're inspiring.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys so much for allowing me to come and speak. I'm so sorry for being late, but I appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Thanks. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Keep in touch.
I shall. Thank you.